Would you stay in an apartment where the roommate you've never met seems to be everywhere? Maggie thought she had a deal of a lifetime until the whispers started. Who or what is behind the locked door? The unseen roommate Maggie had been searching for months before she found the apartment. It was in her price range, close to her work, and had the charm of an older building, creaky hardwood floors, tall ceilings, and windows that let in beams of sunlight. There was only one downside. The landlord mentioned that she'd be sharing the space with a roommate. Maggie hadn't met the roommate yet. The landlord claimed the other tenant kept odd hours and often traveled. But with the city's skyrocketing rent prices, Maggie didn't care. She signed a lease and moved in the following weekend. The apartment was tidy but oddly impersonal. The living room was sparse, just a couch, a coffee table, and an old TV set. The kitchen was fully stocked, but Maggie noticed the utensils looked untouched. Her roommate's bedroom door was locked, but she assumed they'd meet soon enough. The first week passed uneventfully. Maggie settled into her routine, working long hours at her new job and coming home to a quiet apartment. Occasionally, she'd hear faint noises coming from the other bedroom, soft footsteps. The shuffle of papers, but by the time she peeked out, the noises would stop. Must be a night owl, she thought, dismissing it. One morning, Maggie noticed something strange. The kitchen light, which she always turned off before bed, was on when she woke up. A mug sat in the sink, but she hadn't used one the night before. She shrugged it off. Maybe her roommate had come home late and forgotten to clean up. But as the days went on, the incidents became more peculiar. Her keys would be moved to different spots. The bathroom mirror would fog up, as if someone had just taken a hot shower, even when she knew she was alone. A faint, musty smell began to linger in the apartment, no matter how much she cleaned. One evening, Maggie decided to stay up late and confront her elusive roommate. She made coffee and sat on the couch, determined to wait. Midnight came and went. Around 2 a.m., she heard a faint creak from the other bedroom. She stood, her heart racing, and knocked on the locked door. "Hello? I'm Maggie, your roommate. I thought we should meet." There was no response, but she thought she heard something, soft, exhale, like a sigh. She waited a moment longer before retreating to her room, the feeling of being watched prickling at her neck. A few days later, Maggie's curiosity got the better of her. While her roommate's door was still locked, she noticed the faint smell of mildew coming from underneath it. She couldn't resist any longer. Armed with a hairpin and her phone flashlight, she picked the lock. The door creaked open to reveal a room frozen in time. The furniture was covered in dust, the bed neatly made. On the nightstand sat a photo of a young woman, her smile frozen in black and white. Maggie's heart sank when she realized the room hadn't been touched in years. She rummaged through the drawers, finding old letters and postcards addressed to someone named Clara. One letter, dated 10 years ago, made her blood run cold. It read, "To whom it may concern, I can no longer stay here. Clara isn't gone. She's still here watching, waiting. I hear her at night, whispering my name. Please, if you value your sanity, leave while you can." Maggie dropped the letter, her hands trembling. That night, the apartment grew colder. Maggie couldn't sleep, haunted by what she'd read. Around 3 a.m., she heard the sound of footsteps, slow, deliberate, pacey outside her door. "Hello?" she called out, her voice shaking. There was no answer, but the footsteps stopped. She locked her bedroom door and crawled under the covers, clutching her phone. Just as she started to drift off, a faint whisper filled the room. It was coming from inside the closet. "Maggie?" Her blood froze. The voice was soft but insistent, like a breath brushing against her ear. She bolted upright and turned on the light, her eyes darting to the closet door. Summoning all her courage, she approached the closet and yanked it open. It was empty, but scrawled across the inside of the door, in jagged letters, were the words, "You can't lock me out." Maggie decided she couldn't stay in the apartment any longer. She packed her bags, ready to leave first thing in the morning. But that night, the activity escalated. Objects flew off shelves, lights flickered, and the air was filled with a low, guttural moan. She barricaded herself in her room, her heart pounding in her chest. The whispers grew louder, surrounding her. "Maggie, Maggie." The door to her room rattled violently as if something was trying to get in. Then, suddenly, everything went still. The silence was deafening. When she finally dared to open the door, she found the apartment completely empty. The front door was wide open, the night air chilling her to the bone. But just as she stepped outside, she heard it again, the faint sound of footsteps, following her into the night. Maggie never returned to the apartment. She moved to a new city, leaving no forwarding address. But even years later, she sometimes wakes up in the middle of the night, convinced she can hear soft whispers and footsteps echoing in the darkness.